Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. What strikes me first about this Aquarian new moon is that Mercury is right next to it. It seems to me the month must be about becoming conscious, and particularly conscious of what the Aquarian age is about, what it's asking us to work on. We find out through thinking about it and through communicating about it. There's a sextile from Mercury to Uranus, who rules Aquarius, bringing an emphasis to that aspect of Aquarius which is about detachment from what we observe. Now we know in the wholeness of things that we can never fully detach. We are connected to everything. But in Aquarius, the mental field is a huge space. Aquarius is that level which becomes inhabited by the flow of thought and emotion and sensation. Aquarius is the space where all this flows through. And if we can become aware of that, we are not only aware of the space itself, hugely open and innocent, but we can become aware in a detached way of what's flowing through it. I love to think of Aquarius as a periscope. From our personality point of view, from our life on Earth, it's as though Aquarius gives us a periscope. So we don't leave the level we're on, but we have an extra view, which is way above, so we can see over the heads, as it were, of those around us, of the problems of the world, of our own problems. We can get over the top and look down. What we have to remember with the Aquarian viewpoint is that we are really still down there amongst it all. We are part of it. So if there's a problem going on, we are part of the problem. And of course then we must be part of the solution also. But the view, the extra viewpoint, being outside the emotions, thoughts, everything that's said and done, does seem to be rather cold, rather cool, as though it had no emotion. Remembering that every periscope must have somebody looking at it from down below, we know that that Aquarian viewpoint is actually linked to the emotional flow beneath. This month we see in the chart that the Sun and Moon are at right angles, they're square to Jupiter. And Jupiter is very involved with Chiron and Pluto. Jupiter being in Scorpio, very much about the deep emotions, opening up to the suffering of humanity, to all human problems, the problem of the human condition, in fact, which we all have. The square suggests an exaggerated expression of all of that. Not wrong, but showing the immense difference between the emotional soup that we're in down here is just a figure of speech, as opposed to that open, apparently unfeeling viewpoint. So it seems we must keep a foot in both camps, and it's how we deal with it that is the interesting bit this month. There are other two camps as well. There's the feminine and masculine. Venus connects with Saturn beautifully, Pisces to Capricorn, sensitive and responsible, whereas Mars in Sagittarius is anything but responsible and is at right angles to Neptune, square to Neptune. Very sensitive, but not necessarily taking the right action as a result. Maybe feeling got at a bit and wanting to escape into a bit more fun. The middle of Sagittarius is warm and friendly, can be positive, can come up with new ideas, be surprising in its actions, which could be exactly what the Venus and Saturn need to lighten the load. We can divide this into women being the Venus end of this and Mars being the men, but it's more to do with which way our personality is inclined. Of course, we all have both in our natures, the masculine and feminine energies. The energy of action from the solar plexus, the Mars, and the energy of relationship, attracted to people, the Venus. So whichever of these two is nearest to your personality expression, you're likely to need the other one to balance up a bit. If you're heavily into getting your work done and being a good human being in the whole of it all, you may actually need time off. And someone who comes and invites you to a light-hearted party thing might be just the biz. On the other hand, if you've been exploring, researching, looking for new ways to do things and getting excited about the new stuff, you might just need to slow down, breathe, get your feet on the ground and see what the next action might be, remembering always to include others in your life. By the time we get to the full moon, there's so much in Pisces. Mercury has made his way all the way to Venus and Chiron, and the Sun is approaching Neptune. The moon in Virgo is opposite to Sun and Neptune. We have another two to move between and to incorporate. The full moon in Virgo trines Saturn, and is very much about playing our part, endeavouring to be helpful, doing things in a way that works, being responsible. But we need to balance all that with another need, to be in touch with the spirit, to be sensitive to the wholeness, to work as part of the scene and not separate. My feeling is that having looked at a situation, we need to get inner advice first. We need to ask for help from whatever you call it, the angelic realms, the light that shines through the heart of ourselves, to get guidance first before we go ahead and act. The two sides of feminine and masculine are in fact square to each other in this full moon chart. Mars having moved to a position of trining Uranus, so the energy is likely to be trying to escape from situations, going off into great ideas, not being grounded. Very innovative though, and perhaps that's what's required of Mercury, Venus and Chiron trine Jupiter, all sextiling Pluto. It's a powerful energy, as though we become gripped in the situations that have been building up, holding on, as we do when Pluto's around and we're afraid of the transformation that's required. A great intensity, which may be the Mars in Sagittarius, the new ideas, the stepping out into something completely different, can actually take the lid off that volcano and let the truth out. Let the Mars in Sagittarius be brave and courageous, and not foolhardy. So it seems to me that this whole month is about balancing dichotomies. They're none of them exact opposites. They're just different characteristics that take work to enable them to function together. And of course, we have to do it all. We can't just push one part off to one side, because there's nowhere to push anything to. We are all of it. We have to do all of it. Let us be the container of it. Let's recognize that our true identity is the spirit, and pray for assistance in managing the material life. I'm wishing you and myself all the best. Thank you. You are such a gorgeous life force, holding yourselves in place, allowing emotions to flow, and creating mind from consciousness, capturing thought. Relax your nervous grip on the known, allowing the flow of inspiration to connect with a universe of possibilities, and watch it all unfold like a wondrous firework. Join us who love you, not as a tiny speck of humanity, but as being growing into vastness, bright with promise, joyful with love, real and now.